Welcome to WT History. In this series, we list all the major events that happened in the world in a year, starting from 1776 to 2024. On January 10th, the Pemberton Mill in Lawrence, Massachusetts collapsed, killing at least 77 workers. It was one of the worst industrial disasters in American history, a grim reminder of the human cost of the Industrial Revolution. Just weeks later, on February 20th, the Royal Mail steamer SS Hungarian was wrecked off Cape Sable Island, Nova Scotia, killing all 205 people on board as it made its way from the British Isles to the United States. The very next week, on February 26th, another tragedy struck. The Wiyot Massacre at Tuluwat Island in Northern California. Scores of Wiyot men, women, and children were killed while they slept, marking one of the darkest chapters in Native American history. Then, on February 27th, Abraham Lincoln delivered his now famous Cooper Union speech in New York City, a calm, reasoned defense of freedom and unity that would catapult him to national prominence and ultimately the presidency. Spring brought innovation. On April 3rd, the Pony Express began its first run, carrying mail and even a small Bible across nearly 2,000 miles from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento, California, shrinking the American continent through courage and speed. On May 1st, a chondrite-type meteorite fell near New Concord, Ohio, astonishing onlookers and providing scientists with rare insight into the mysteries of space. Then, on September 7th, tragedy returned. The PS Lady Elgin was struck and sunk on Lake Michigan, drowning more than 300 people, one of the worst maritime disasters in the Great Lakes. Finally, on November 6th, Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States, defeating John C. Breckinridge, Stephen A. Douglas, and John Bell, becoming the first Republican president in history. But the celebration was short-lived. On December 20th, South Carolina, led by Governor Francis Pickens, became the first state to secede from the Union, igniting the spark that would soon erupt into the American Civil War. On January 2nd, French astronomer Urbain Le Verrier announced the discovery of a hypothetical planet named Vulcan, believed to orbit closer to the Sun than Mercury. Later that month, on January 20th, Camillo Benso, Count of Cavour, was recalled as Prime Minister of Piedmont, Sardinia, setting the stage for Italy's unification. By March 22nd, the Grand Duchy of Tuscany was annexed to the newly forming Kingdom of Italy, and on April 2nd, Italy's first parliament met in Turin. That same month, uprisings erupted again in Palermo, while on April 4th, French inventor Édouard-Léon Scott de Martinville recorded Au clair de la lune using his phonautograph, creating the world's earliest known recording of the human voice, though it would not be heard again until 2008. On May 6th, Giuseppe Garibaldi launched the Expedition of the Thousand from Cordo, and within days his troops won the Battle of Calatafimi on May 15th. By May 27th, Garibaldi's forces had taken Palermo, securing control over most of Sicily. Meanwhile, on May 17th, in Germany, TSV 1860 München, a football club that still exists today, was founded. Then, on the June 12th, Russia established the State Bank of the Russian Empire, and just weeks later, on July 2nd, Vladivostok was founded, a city that would grow into Russia's key port on the Pacific. The Italian campaign continued through summer. On July 20th, Garibaldi won the Battle of Milazzo, and by August 22nd, aided by the British Navy, his troops crossed from Sicily to the Italian mainland. In early September, the first International Chemistry Congress convened in Karlsruhe, Baden, bringing together some of the greatest scientific minds of the age. Just days later, on September 7th, Naples fell to Garibaldi's forces, while Piedmontese troops invaded the Papal States to join him. The Battle of Castelfidardo on September 18th saw a decisive Piedmontese victory over the Papal army, paving the way for Italy's unification. On October 1st, Garibaldi triumphed once more at the Battle of Volturnus, crushing the last army of the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies. Just weeks later, on October 17th, the very first British Open Championship was played at Prestwick Golf Club in Scotland, with Willie Park Sr. taking the inaugural title. On October 26th, Garibaldi again defeated the Neapolitan forces and then met King Victor Emmanuel II at Teano, handing him the city of Naples and recognizing him as King of Italy. By November 3rd, Garibaldi and Victor Emmanuel had besieged Gaeta, the last stronghold of King Francis II, marking the dawn of a unified Italy. On December 1st, Charles Dickens began publishing Great Expectations in his magazine all the year round. On December 7th, Monier Williams won the hotly contested election to become Bowdoin Professor of Sanskrit at Oxford University. And on December 29th, the HMS Warrior, the world's first ocean-going iron-hulled battleship, was launched, a marvel of naval engineering. Meanwhile, chemists Robert Bunsen and Gustav Kirchhoff discovered caesium and rubidium, and Albert Niemann isolated the alkaloid cocaine from coca leaves. The same year also saw the founding of Tag Heuer, the Swiss watchmaker that would one day become a global symbol of precision. On January 13th, Spanish troops led by General Leopoldo O'Donnell defeated the Moroccan army at the Battle of Tetuan, strengthening Spain's North African influence. In New Zealand, the First Taranaki War began on March 17th, as Maori resisted land sales to British settlers. Just a week later, on March 24th, in Japan, samurai assassinated Inosuke outside Edo Castle in what became known as the Sakuradaman Incident, a reaction against Japan's forced opening to foreign powers. From March to August, the Taiping Rebellion intensified in China as the Qing army of 180,000 was destroyed in the second route of the Jiangnan Daying. On May 8th, civil war erupted in New Granada, modern-day Colombia, after several states led by Cauca seceded over disputes about presidential power. Then, on July 11th, in Japan, Prince Mutsuhito, the future Emperor Meiji, became crown prince, heralding a new era for the nation. In South America, on the September 24th, Ecuadorian forces captured Guayaquil, ending the power of Guillermo Franco, who had been supported by Peru. By October, British explorers John Hanning Speke and James Augustus Grant departed Zanzibar, beginning their expedition to locate the source of the Nile River. That same month, on October 5th, the European powers formed a joint commission to investigate the massacres of Maronite Christians in Lebanon. The very next day, Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code was enacted in British India, a law that would remain on the books for more than a century. Then came the climax of the Second Opium War. On October 18th, the Convention of Peking formally ended the conflict, but British forces under Lord Elgin burned down Beijing's old summer palace in retaliation for the mistreatment of prisoners. By October 19th, a new Maori revolt began in New Zealand, while Napoleon III and Empress Eugenie visited Algiers, touring the historic Casbah. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we uncover the stories of 1861, the year the world went to war.